So today's NFL trade deadline was definitely a stinker, but still some interesting moves did go down today and in the past few weeks. And today, as we always do, thanks to Madden scientific research, we're going to see if all the trades that have gone down in the NFL would actually be accepted in Madden 21. And if they aren't accepted, like they happened and how they went through in real life, we see what it would take in Madden 21 for that trade to be accepted. And basically what today's video is about, it's just showing how goddamn stupid the freaking Madden trade logic is.
Eat corn and get RBT to 1 million subscribers by Christmas. Eat your corn. Love your corn. But you need to get RBT to 1 million subscribers by Christmas.
So hope you guys do enjoy today's Madden scientific video, and if you do, make sure to smash a huge thumbs up. Also guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, because if and only if we do hit that 1 million subscription mark by the end of the year, we're doing a massive next gen console giveaway to my subscribers and subscribers only. 3 next generation consoles being given away to my subscribers, a value like $2,000, but you gotta make sure you subscribe so we can hit that 1 million mark. So make sure to take that millisecond that it does take to click that subscription button if you have. With that said, Trader 10 number 1, as we do have the New England Patriots. Their wide receiver core has been absolutely stinky. Now the trade deadline was very stinky. You had guys like Stephon Gilmore that could potentially got traded. Who else did we have? We had freaking Will Fuller that could have got traded. Maybe even a Julio Jones, but they all didn't get traded. But I mean, it's still interesting nonetheless to test out real life trade logic versus freaking Madden trade logic. And a weird trade here because you don't normally see teams trade players within their own division. But I mean, it was Isaiah Ford, who does come in at a whopping 71 overall, which it would be one of the best receivers right now on the Patriots wide receiver core, with like half the freaking wide receiver core hurt. So Isaiah Ford, if you see me looking into my screen, it's me just referencing what, like I have it written down, what they traded. It is a 2022 7th round selection. So, I mean, I highly doubt this goes through, but it's interesting nonetheless to see. Like, this pretty much is going to epitomize what we see in today's video. This trade went through in real life, no problem whatsoever, to Madden 21, yes! You need about 17 of these 7th round selections, so what actually is going to take to bring in Isaiah Ford? I want to try it out just to draft it. So, with a 4th round selection, with a 2022 7th was all it took in real life, so a 4th from this year. Okay, so that was accepted. I actually didn't expect that to be accepted, but once again, in real life, it takes a 2022 7th round selection. In a Madden 21, it takes a friggin' 4th from this year. Now the team that just traded away Isaiah Ford now gets some reinforcement for their backfield because Myles Gaskin is going to be out for about 3 weeks. They did a trade, a decent little trade for the time being, to acquire a running back from the Kansas City Chiefs who really wasn't getting much playing time, and the fact that the Chiefs got something out of the deal was pretty good because this guy, DeAndre Washington, wasn't going to play since they now have Le'Veon Bell back there as well. I mean, he comes in at 72 overall, so he can provide some depth in that backfield for the Dolphins. The Chiefs had to trade a 7th round selection from this year, and the Dolphins, all they had to trade away to bring in DeAndre Washington was a 6th round selection from this year. So basically, all they did was swap a 6th for a 7th, and they got DeAndre Washington. So this is not going to go through, but I'm just excited to see how bad it looks. And, yep, it's basically like the last trade. So, what's it going to take to bring in DeAndre Washington in a 7th round selection? It's probably going to be, I don't know if the 4th will be enough because there's a 7th round selection added onto it. So, we tried the 4th round selection that we just got, and, okay, it's about halfway to going through. So, I'm interested here. So, is a 3rd round selection going to be enough? Not even a 3rd round selection. Holy crap. How about a 2nd round selection? That is still decline. Oh, you gotta love Madden. It literally took the Dolphins swapping a 6th round selection for this trade to be accepted, but in Madden, I'm adding in a 2nd round selection that could have been enough to bring in Stephon Gilmore. They can't even bring in DeAndre Washington, a 3rd string running back, in a 7th round pick. So let's try a 2nd round selection, and we'll also try like a 6th from this year. I think this should be accepted, and it is. So once again, in real life, all it takes is that 6th round selection. So you take that 6, add on a 2nd round selection for this year, and then the trade will be accepted like it was in real life. Now, one theme that we are going to kind of see today is the fact that a lot of trades that went through our teams are going to try to replace a position where a player got injured, because there's been a lot of injuries this year, really funky. But the Steelers had to replace one of their linebackers, Devin Bush, who is going to be out for an extended period of time, as they bring in a veteran from the New York Jets. I mean, to be this guy from the Jets, you've got to be ecstatic. You go from the winless Jets to the team that hasn't lost a game on the entire season, and that is going to be inside linebacker Mr. Avery Williamson, 83 rated, actually one of the higher rated players in today's video. And also for this trade to be accepted, they had to throw in their 7th round selection from 2022. And all the Steelers had to do to make this deal go through was throw in their 5th round selection from 2022. So once again, I don't expect this to go through, not even be freaking close, which is the theme of today's video, because Madden trade logic is atrocious, but we submit this through, and that is the least amount of trade interest we've had all video long. So let's go ahead and throw in the Steelers 2nd round selection from this year, not even halfway to going through, so this might end up being one of the funkiest trades in the entirety of today's video, because once again, all it took was a 5th from the 2022 draft. So a 1st round selection, which once again probably would have been enough for the Steelers to acquire Stephon Gilmore, the reigning defensive player of the year in the NFL, to bring in Avery Williamson, not even, well, about halfway, just a little bit over halfway to going through. So it's probably also going to take a player. So what the heck, the Jets need a receiver. They have some players injured. So what about James Washington? Really hasn't got that much playing time because Deontay Johnson's been balling out. They have Juju, and we all know about Chase Claypool. So about James Washington also. So we throw this in there, and it's still freaking declined. The receiver that they want. So I guess it's going to take another draft pick on top of the player. So maybe even a 7th from this year would be enough to go through. And it's still goddamn declined. Jesus Christ, Madden 21, get your freaking trade logic fixed. Now, god dang it, this has just turned into a goddamn freaking meme. So what about like a 4th round selection from next year, because we don't have a 5th from this year. Now it's freaking accepted. Jesus Christ. So as you see in real life, all it took was a 5th round selection from the 2022 draft to make this trade become accepted. But in Madden 21, thanks to their brilliant trade logic, takes a 1st round selection from this year, one of their better wide receivers in James Washington, 77 rated, and a 4th round pick from next year for goddamn 83 rated, like 30-something-year-old Avery Williamson on an 0-17 and a 7th round draft pick from next year. So next trade comes at the helm of the Seattle Seahawks, who had to get some help in that front 7 because it's been pretty stinky this season. This trade actually happened about a week ago. They got a disgruntled Cincinnati Bengal with the name Carlos Dunlap, 79 overall, and all they had to do to bring in the veteran is one of their crappy offensive linemen, 66 rated BJ Finney, and a 7th round 2021 selection. Now, I highly doubt this goes through, but we'll see what it takes. Submit this through, and not even freaking close. About on par with the last deal. So this is probably going to take a lot. So if we throw in, I don't even know if this 2nd will be enough. Let's just try it. The 2nd round selection for Carlos Dunlap. So this is gonna be hilarious. This is gonna be goddamn hilarious. So the 2nd round selection isn't enough. So how about a 1st round selection or a 2nd round selection from 2022 as well, so they get 2 2nd round draft picks for Carlos Dunlap? Submit this through, and it's barely over halfway when all it took was a freaking 66 center and a 7th round selection. So we're gonna have to find some sort of player that the Bengals want in return. Maybe an offensive guard they have, maybe a crappy one, outside linebacker maybe. Jordan Brooks, KJ Wright, Benberg Curvin. They don't want him. How about Jordan Brooks? I know he's a 1st round selection. So how about just the former 1st round selection and a 2nd from this year for Carlos Dunlap, and it's still declined. Oh, what a brilliant game this is. So let's continue. I think a 4th now should be enough from this year added into the deal, and it's not. And it's not. So oh my, a 3rd from next year maybe? Submit this through, it's still goddamn declined. Jesus, this game is just so bad. It just makes me so, like, sad how bad this game is. So there we have it. So the Detroit Lions, another team that did need some help on their front 7, on their defensive line. This is another trade, and the final trade that kind of happened like a week or so ago. They went out and they got some money out the Dallas Cowboys defense, which we all know hasn't been great. The Cowboys kind of like bailing and just getting rid of some of the defensive pieces they signed in the last offseason, and they've been awful for them. So they're trying to get rid of their deadwood. and that is none other than the veteran defensive end who used to be an all-pro for none other than the Minnesota Vikings now, or was on the Dallas Cowboys, now on the Lions. All it took in real life was a 6th round selection from this year, and it's just not going to go through. Yep, at least that's probably been the most amount of interest we've seen from the deal that actually went through in real life, so at least that's a decent start, but it's probably, once again, going to take a 4th round selection and a 6th, and probably even more than that. At least it's over halfway now, but it's going to end up taking a 3rd. How about a 6th and a 3rd instead? And that's still got to take decline. So I guess once again we have to add in a player. So how about a defensive tackle? Or maybe we have a plethora of running backs they could possibly use for some depth purposes. So how about, let's go Kerryon Johnson added into the deal. And this should be enough. And there it is. Once again, in real life, all it takes is that 6, but in Madden 21, you have to add on to that 6 with a 3rd in Kerryon Johnson, then the Cowboys would be willing to part way with Everson Griffin. 95-year-old. Second to last trade, and one of the bigger ones that did happen the last few weeks, actually happened yesterday. The New Orleans Saints got some help in the linebacker core, trading away Kiko Alonso and a 5th from this year to the San Francisco 49ers for a linebacker with the name Quan Alexander. 81 rated, very good linebacker. So interested why the 49ers were willing to deal him away. Maybe something I don't know, but he's a quality linebacker. So I don't think this is even going to be close. This might be the least amount of interest we've seen in the trade that happened in real life in the entire video up to this point. Kiko Alonso, who they're not interested in a 5th round selection, submit this through. And yep, that's probably about average for today's video. This is going to take so much because they do value him at 5 stars. This is going to end up taking a 1st and probably even more. So once again, took a 5th in Kiko in real life, a 1st round selection instead of the 5th in Kiko Alonso, and yep, look at that. This might actually be one of those impossible trades that you can't even get to actually be accepted. Oh man, so let's throw in a 2nd as well. They need a wide receiver. Emmanuel Sanders, submit this through. It's still declined. So how about this? How about freaking this? Michael Thomas, their 1st round selection from this year, submit this through, and it still got a decline. When it took freaking, who was it? Kiko Alonso in a 5th. I think now though, you probably could throw in like a 3rd or 4th and maybe it'd be accepted. How about that 4th round selection from this year? Submit this through. It still got a decline. So how about the 2nd? This is all I have really to trade away. It's still declined. Oh, it's just such a bad goddamn game. So how about the 1st from next year instead? How about this? It's still declined. So it's probably going to take another player. Or maybe it won't even take another player. Maybe I don't have enough. How about an all-pro left tackle, Teron Armstead, instead? Submit this through. There it is. So great job, EA Sports. So once again, in real life, takes 30-year-old Kiko Alonso and a 5th to bring in Quan Alexander. In Madden 21, as you see, takes their 1st round selection, Michael Thomas and Teron Armstead. Great game. So final trade for today's video, and this one hit home because it made me so happy. My Tennessee Titans acquiring a potential beast at the cornerback position, which has been our downfall all season long. Last game, we got dotted by Joe Burrow with freaking 37-year-old Jonathan Joseph, who just got freaking released like 10 minutes ago. Him, a 7th round selection, Chris Jackson, and 31-year-old Malcolm Butler is getting absolutely, completely dotted up. Now, we bring in Desmond King, and Adoree Jackson should be coming back from the IR. Hopefully, this upcoming Sunday we'll be able to play, and hopefully Christian Fulton will come back in the next 3 weeks and be solid as well as a number 3 corner. But we're going to go from, once again, having Jonathan Joseph, Chris Jackson, who's a 7th round selection, and Malcolm Butler, to then having Desmond King. Malcolm Butler was probably our 4th cornerback. Christian Fulton, who was a 2nd round pick from last year, has been pretty good this season. And then Adoree Jackson. So that made me happy. So we do bring in Desmond King from the LA Chargers. Probably so happy because there's been apparently something going on with him and his head coach, Anthony Lynn. Like, they're not on the same page, so they haven't even been playing him. But he's an 85 rated in Madden 21. He's only 25 years old, was just a freaking all-pro 2 years ago. Pro Football Focus, I think, said they have him as their highest rated cornerback since 2018. So as a Titans fan, I'll take it. And literally all it took us to bring in Desmond King was a 6th round selection. And we got this 6th round selection by trading Kamala Correa, who was he was a decent outside linebacker, but we traded him to the Jaguars because he wasn't playing much this season in a 7th. So we swapped that. So pretty much we turned Kamala Correa and a 7th round selection into Desmond King. But this is not even gonna be close. Like, it's not even freaking remotely close. Look at that. This might be, once again, one of those impossible deals. Like, that's the least amount of trade interest we've had in the entire video. And, like, it just makes me even happier as a Titans fan because, god dang, like, we got him for this actual 6 in real life. So, what's it gonna take to bring him in? So, once again, let's try a first, second, and third. This probably won't even be close. This is not gonna happen. Like, it's just not gonna work. We can trade literally everybody away here. Like, we can trade away Derrick Henry and even Kevin Byard in this deal. And that's barely over halfway to going through. We can even throw in our first round selection and submit this through. And it's still declined. How about Ryan Tannehill added in the deal as well? He's got a huge boost up to an 88 rated. Submit this through. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna go through. So once again, as a Titans fan, this makes me happy. But at the same time, like, it's not that big of a deal. It's just, like, comes down to the fact that Madden 21 freaking sucks.